We've heard from a number of carriers like here and in recent conversations saying things to us like, oh, GPT's here. Why would we need a solution like yours? And I wonder if part of that I think is, part of it I think is hype. Part of it I think is the usual sort of business mindset that here's a technology, we're going to technology all the things. And then part of it I think is just wishful thinking, but I would love to know if you've had similar conversations and how you answer that question.
I've heard everything from Skynet is now self-aware. This AI stuff's going to kill us all, which I think is perhaps a bit
that seems to be making headlines.
It does.
Yeah.
Come with me if you want to live, Jim.
Yeah, it's a bit on one edge. On the other edge, I have seen this stuff's never going to work.
No, okay.
And on the sort of the other piece of it, I think we've seen is use this for what? and it's actually the use this for what is probably the most interesting of those three responses, because this is kind of not self-aware. This is narrow AI. We can talk deep details about the construct, but it's taking the technology. Generative AI is taking it's taking drudgery out of work, right? It's got the ability to reduce the use of rote task.
Yeah.
Great. Back to our earlier sort of philosophical conversation about how does all this stuff work. Right. We're still thinking the problem is, what's the business problem or technical human problem we're trying to solve?
Right.
So back to sort of what we're seeing and hearing in that space then is the questions that come to me from customers, and quite literally on a daily basis now, is what can I use this tech for?
Yeah. Okay.
And my response back is, it varies, but my response back for...
It depends. Yeah.
Depends, of course.
I didn't want to give the consultant's answer, but thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it.
They're teaming up on me. This is not how this podcast usually goes.
I have my pen. I'm going to write down the number of times we say depends in the conversation. But as it comes out, the response I give is we need to actually understand the business processes we're coming at, and then understand from there what I can use the technology to achieve. So I actually sit down and with customers and want to talk about generative AI. There's sort of three basic pillars to the response. Pillar one is the use cases. What am I trying to do? Pillar two is a technology play, because this is tech.
Yeah.
You have to deploy it. You also have to deploy it securely, scale both vertical and horizontal. So vertical as in I need to use a lot more of it sometimes, and horizontal as in I need to use it for more things. Yeah. So I have that piece. I mentioned security. I'm going to come back to that with 3 or 4 more times. I might as well do as many tick marks on security as I can on it depends, because it's really, really important.
Yeah.
Everything from regulatory, we're working with customer data. Right. We're working with, sometimes really super sensitive data, PII, PHI, PXI, if you will. And there's elements of all of that. So the technology deployment model has to be done right. And just saying, I'm just going to go use ChatGPT to do it. I mean, Microsoft is very well known. We're a huge investor in OpenAI. Yeah. But at the same time, we need to have industrial grade scale. If we're an insurance company, we need to have highly compliant approach to things if we're the thing.
And a system that's flexible and nimble enough to change as the regulatory landscape changes.
Right. And that's actually where the third leg of the stool comes in. So use cases, technology, and governance.
Yes.
Exactly to your point. That third leg of the stool is doing it right. Then doing it right is a combination of responsible AI. It goes in with all of your compliance, your risk modeling, your compliance modeling, and how you actually operate as a business. There's great technology, whether we talk about generative AI or other cognitive AI, which is the other place where we see a heck of a lot of work coming in. There's a lot of things that you can do with that technology that, to quote the guy who's like a few layers above me in Microsoft, it can be a tool or it can be a weapon. Yeah. And it has to be done in a manner that is responsible.